kind of therapy do you prefer? And this is a big one because I still haven't fully gotten my head around all of the therapy lingo and jargon and all of that stuff, and I probably still don't even really know my stuff. But and I also wanted to say that I'm not a professional. Google is my best friend, so I kind of looked up some of the meanings of these because I don't even know how to really explain it myself. But so this is just a reminder to just do your own research on what these mean, or even if you contact a professional, maybe ask them like, what did you mean when you say that you specialize in this or that, so you get a better understanding of what it is they offer. But the ones that I've found quite helpful are cognitive behavioral therapy, which the definition that I got off Google was it helps you to identify patterns of your thinking and how they negatively affect you, which is quite good. It's definitely helped me in the past. I noticed that I have quite a lot of patterns that I need to work on, or that have negatively affected me. So that is one. But my favorite one at the moment, which I didn't even know was one, I'm sure there's going to be some therapists that correct me in the comments, and I absolutely welcome it. But humanistic therapy, and it's basically an approach that helps you to look at how your worldview affects the choices you make. So it is very person-centered, and it focuses on helping you understand what you're experiencing, which for me, as I've mentioned before, as an empath, like this is for me. And currently this is kind of the approach that my therapist specializes in. So it's really helped me. Honestly, it really, really has helped me quite a lot. So yeah, I think those are the two that I like. There's so many, and I find that, I don't know if I'm right by this, but I find that some of them kind of like intertwine into each other. Like your therapist could like literally try all kinds of different approaches sometimes. So yes, just not always just one set one, but those are the two that I've had quite a lot of experience with. So those are the ones that I would probably go for. Is there a stigma attached to Black people in therapy? Now, I definitely think that there is a stigma. I don't think it is as prominent as it was before. However, I still think that it is there. I think our generation is slowly learning and teaching our parents, our grandparents, even our peers, about mental health, and teaching them that just because you go to therapy doesn't mean that you're mad or you're insane, or some of the words and negative connotations that are attached to therapy, but you're doing it because it's a way to process some difficult feelings that you're feeling. It's a way to process like just how you're feeling, and there is nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're mad, it doesn't mean that you're crazy, it just means that you need a little bit of extra help. And sometimes from time to time we're gonna struggle with how we process our thoughts. Like, life is hard. Sometimes it's good to be able to process those. And I know maybe for like older generations, they've kind of just had to suck it up and just go to work or go and do whatever they need to do, take care of their family, and their emotional well-being was probably put on the back burner. But our generation is slowly unlearning these things and slowly learning that we need to make sure that we look after ourselves. We need to make sure that we get the help that we need. So yeah, I'm not even gonna get started on the generational trauma and the links to slavery and all of that stuff, but I still think, of course, we still have some more work to do around that. What was your family's response? My family took it well. There is some learning that still needs to be done in regards to breaking down the stigma that they have towards mental health and seeking support. I think for a lot of parents, they're kind of like, well, why are you going to therapy? Like, what's wrong with you? And sometimes I think we need to get out of this habit of thinking that there has to be something wrong with you in order for you to seek therapy. Like, sometimes it's just good to have a different perspective. It's not always, yeah, I'm spiraling, or yeah, I'm this or I'm that. Like, there is And even if there is, like, the point is therapy should always be seen as a positive thing because you're reaching out for help. You are getting the support you need to feel better. So, yeah, I definitely think there is still a bit more that needs breaking down, a bit more that they need to unlearn and relearn. But all in all, I have my family support. But that being said, even if I didn't have their support, one thing that I take pride in is knowing that I am breaking, and I know a lot of people say this on Twitter, breaking generational curses. I don't like the curses part, but I know that my generation, my lineage, my family history, all of that trauma stops with me. It stops with me. And I'm happy with that. I'm actually happy with that. Not saying that there was anything specifically traumatic in my family. I mean, there's things I probably don't even know, but knowing that if I ever decide to have children, I'm in a better place to be able to help them because I'm even unlearning things and relearning things. I just know I'm finna be great. That's all I know, and that is like a huge weight off my shoulders, knowing that I'm putting in the work. And I know not just me, but a lot of people in my specific generation, they are putting in the work to stop the trauma, to be the end of the trauma in their family. And that just makes me smile, honestly, makes me so happy. Okay, so how weird is it to talk about deep stuff with a stranger I don't trust easily? LOL. For me, it's not weird at all. Going back to question 1, when I said that I kind of have been having these conversations with my young people a lot in regards to being like, you know, you're talking to someone completely separate. The best way to explain why it's easy for me to be able to talk to a stranger is, one, it almost just feels like I'm writing a letter and I'm putting it in a bottle and I'm sending it out to the ocean, or I am sending it via pigeon. I don't know why, this is not a joking matter, but I just feel like once I have deposited those feelings, those negative feelings that I'm feeling somewhere else, I feel relief because I know that whatever I'm telling my therapist, well, it's supposed to be confidential. We'll just hope that it is. I'm telling myself that it is. I know it's never going to go back to my family. I know that it's not going to go back to my friends. I know that it's not going to go back to my colleagues at work. I just know that whatever I dump onto my therapist, which sounds really bad, it's literally like, sometimes I really do think they are people as well, and I'm probably sure that they also get some kind of vicarious trauma, which vicarious trauma is experiencing someone else's trauma as if it was your own. And that normally happens through work. So that could happen from me working with a young person and they told me something traumatic happened to them, and then I also take that on and it affects me. But I also have to remind myself that they are trained professionals who also then have therapists that they have to go and talk to as well, and have practices that they have to kind of go through to help them kind of make sense of what's happened, or to make sure that they've done the right thing in regards to how they have dealt with their clients and stuff, which is a whole nother conversation. I'm just going on to a tangent, but basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm comfortable talking to a stranger because I can literally go to her and dump whatever feelings I'm feeling on. And when I tell you, I'm going to tell you this now, and I don't have to worry about where it's going, but I'm going to tell you this now. Every time I've had a therapy session, it's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. If anything, it's comfortable because I don't know this woman from a can of paint. she doesn't know my family, she doesn't know me, she doesn't know any of that stuff. Like, I can literally go about my day knowing, like, have you ever had a friend that you literally tell something to and you're like, but don't tell anyone, and deep down you know, deep in the pit of your soul, that they could potentially go and tell someone. You always have in the back of your mind, like, oh my gosh, like, this friend's gonna tell this friend, or like, you always have that feeling of, oh my gosh, you're gonna tell someone. Whereas with my therapist, and I'm speaking, this is my own experience, but I feel like I tell her it, the most she's gonna do is go and share it with other professionals who I also don't know, and they don't know me. Whereas if you're telling stuff to your friends, there's always that fear of like them sharing that with your friendship network, and you know, the world being small and all of that stuff. It's just more daunting. So no, it doesn't feel weird at all. If anything, it feels more welcoming to be able to talk to someone that's completely neutral and separate from my current life, which is amazing. What is the most you have taken away from your therapy? And I found this question, I've saved this question as the best till last, because I don't actually have an answer to this. And the reason why I don't have an answer to it is because, do you know what I said about, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this when they have therapy, but I feel like once I have therapy, I kind of forget about it. And not in a way like, oh, it never happened. It was kind of like, I will take a few gems here or there, but there's just so many gems and there's so many things. And in order to kind of share the best thing that I've learned from therapy is to almost share what I'm discussing in therapy. And like I said, my journey is quite sacred and I don't want to necessarily share that. However, one thing I will say about my therapy that has really helped me is being able to put a lot of stuff into perspective. Yeah, I don't think I can really think about what I've necessarily taken away from it, but I can say how it's benefited me. And the one thing I'll say that's benefited me is being able to talk to someone and then just listen. And not just listen, but also be able to kind of really understand what you're saying to them and be able to kind of repeat it back to you. I find that my therapist is quite helpful in regards to, I would have said something like 5 weeks ago and she'd be like, I remember when you said this, like I would like to explore this more. And it's just nice, like, not saying that I don't get that from a friendship or get that from family, but it's just something about having someone really just there to really listen to you, and really take in everything that you're saying and really not just analyze it but continuously ask you questions. And I think one thing that my therapist has been really good at is using visual aids or using analogies to help me to better understand my feelings of how I've been feeling about things, which has been really, really, really good. So I'll give an example of what she has done one time. I don't even know why she made me do this. I think I kind of go through quite a lot of self-doubt quite a lot. I know a lot of people see me as quite confident and see me as someone who's like, yay, I'm a bad bee, which I am. However, I think I go through, majority of the time, maybe 80% of the time, I go through self-loathing or feeling like, oh Tanai, why do you do this, or why did you say that, or this was bad, or you know, you're just no good. And I just have these negative self-talks with myself, and then 20% of that is positive, which might be hard to believe, but yeah, that's how I am sometimes. And she kind of asked me to do an exercise once, which was to basically draw an armor, and basically in the 4 quadrants of the armor to basically kind of discuss who I am, or what I want people to know about me, or 4 emblems that sum me up in a nutshell. Now, don't laugh, do not laugh, because my drawing on this wasn't very great, but I ended up doing it for homework, which I drew a armor. Like I said, my drawing wasn't very good, and I was really proud of this and discussing this with her. Like, when she asked me to do this, I was just so excited to do it. I just got so excited, and discussing it with her, like, it just really just made me quite proud of who I am. So the first thing that I drew was a clam. I know this doesn't really look like a clam, but it is a clam. And so I wanted people to know that I am soft on the inside. So there's a clam and there's a pearl in the clam, right? And I wanted people to know that I'm not just soft. No, that I'm not just hard on the outside. I actually have a soft inside. Oh my gosh. I wanted people to know, like, that I thought of an analogy of a clam, and the reason why I thought of an analogy of a clam is because a clam is really hard to open and it has a really tough exterior, but inside, not all clams have pearls in them, but, and I don't even know if clams have pearls in them, I might just be making this up, but there's a pearl in there. So it's something about me being quite hard to open, or when you open or you break that tough exterior, there is a rarity inside, which is a pearl, and that is me. So that was the first thing I wrote. I think the second one, I don't know why I did this like this, but the second one that I did was grass. So the reason why I did grass is because I am adaptable or resilient in most situations. So grass, like, it could be in the scorching heat and it still grows, or it can be drenched in rain and it grows. Like, it can go through so many different extremities, like snow, all kinds of different weather changes, and it still grows. So that was kind of to explain my resilience in regards to just who I am as a person. I'm someone who, despite, even though when I'm going through it, I don't realize that it's difficult, but when I come out of it, I'm like, oh wow, I really made it through that. So grass was the only thing so it was between grass or a chameleon, and I couldn't draw a chameleon, so I stuck with the grass. And as you can see, I didn't even draw the grass that great. And then the third one I did was a basically a teacup, fine china to be exact. Cue Chris Brown, Fine China, because that's one of my favorite songs. But I use fine china because when you think of fine china is also, once again, like a rarity to a certain extent, and also it is quite fragile. And I liken that to the sensitive part of me, of me being highly sensitive. I am quite fragile. So that's kind of like self-explanatory. And then the last one is fire. And the reason why I chose fire is because I think that I can be quite intense. I'm quite passionate about the things I love. I'm passionate about the people I love. I'm very passionate. And that is with everything. Anything that I do in life, I am passionate about it. I am intense about it. So that's kind of self-explanatory. So yeah, this was one of the exercises that she got me to do, that I thought was really helpful. She just says like little gems here or there, or she just really gives really good prompts. So those are the benefits that I have from therapy. It's like literally one of the things that I look forward to. Yeah, so I think that's the end of my video. I am going to link some resources at the bottom. Please go check them out. They will give you a better guide of like how to find therapists, what to look for in therapists. There's some really good resources on there that I may not have touched on, and I really want you guys to be as informed as possible to make the best informed decisions for yourself, and maybe help other people in your family or friends who may also need it. I am here if you guys ever want to talk, if you want to drop me a DM, if you want to comment on this, email me, whatever you want to do. I am here if you have any questions. So yes, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Have a good day, and please look after yourselves and stay safe. Bye.